Right, well, welcome, Commanders. We are just 15 jumps away from Beagle Point, very close to the far edge of the universe. Not the universe, the far edge of the galaxy from Earth. I have found a planet with 7 forms of life on it. And so we stopped here on the way to Beagle Point to check out the life. Now this planet has been discovered by people before me, so I won't be getting the bonuses for being the first person to find the life. Let's show you where we are on the galaxy map. Right, okay, so that's actually the wrong galaxy map. That's the one from the last tour. Let's go and find the right one.
No gravity warning.
Alright, okay, that's tour 2, so this is the galaxy map we're using at the moment. Right, so we are 15 jumps away from here, so this is the fleet carrier at Beagle Point. Earth and Sol are here in the middle of the bubble, and Beagle Point is the furthest system you can get to in an unengineered spaceship. Now, after Beagle Point, I will be going on to another system which is slightly further away from Earth, but is only accessible by ships that have been engineered. Right, so you can access this webpage from the About section in Twitch, and there's links to it in on YouTube as well. So if you're watching this on a video, you should see a link to it on YouTube. Now you can come here, and if you click on any of these positions on the map, it will open up a screenshots from that location, and if there's a YouTube video, it will link to the YouTube video as well for that location. Right, okay, so to the game. Right, so as I said, there are 7 biological signals on this planet. I landed in a crater, so in this crater there should be 3 of the 7, and one of them I can see there right from the offset. That's Fungoida. So let's get out and scan those. I think the other things I'm expecting to find here are conkers and tussock, which is grass. So I just want to check the frame rate again. Yeah, still in low figures when I'm out of the ship. Right, so we have got Fungoida, Galaxa Green, which is not that uncommon. Yeah, so again, you can see they are green here, and if I shine a light on them, they look green. But if we go around the back and look at them with the light behind them, turn this light off, they are red because they have internal red pigments that gets picked up, which is a very good thing. All right, so so I have my night vision on there. Right, so for these we have to go 300 meters. Now this is a pretty big patch. I don't think that's 300 meters. Let's give it a go. Let's just drive over to the other side of it and see. what was that there? Oh, that. Oh, that's the conker or concha. Right, so this is the far side of that patch. I'm pretty sure that wasn't 300 meters. Let's just get out and check. Oh, it was 300 meters, so we can scan 2 samples from one patch. That's good. Right, so we now have to go and find one more. Right, so night vision helps plants stand out. Yeah, so that is some there, and I think that is possibly tussock on the other side. Right, so when I landed on this planet, these things only grow in very small locations, or a very small percentage of the whole planet. Normally when that happens, you expect it to be quite hard to find them. Right, so that was the fungoida. This is the tussock. See what kind this is. Cactus green. Alright, so they I have scanned before, and they are worth 200,000 for selling the data for those. And I'm not sure if when you sell data for plants, you get additional money for it being further away. Right, so now I need to find more tussock. So tussock, you only need to go 200 meters. And I think we have a big patch here. It's not quite far enough. How far away was the last lot? It does tell you in the radar after a while. Oh, so it was only 150 meters. Oh, there's some over there in that small crater. Now, I did see a big patch of conkers just behind us. So we'll go over there now. Hopefully we'll find some more tussock near there. And I'll be able to pick two from the same like, oh, there's some conkers there as well. Right, so that's turn on night vision. Alright, Right, so I can see the concha, and hopefully that is tussock in front. So yeah, so far on this planet, finding these plants have been very easy. Sometimes it can take forever. But we've been going for 10 minutes and we've already scanned 2 different species, and we know where we can find another one. Right, so yeah, so for conkers we only need to go 150 meters between samples. And what is that? That is Renibus blue. Right, so if we go back to that crater, we'll find one there, and then there's another one on the way back to the ship. So quite likely, is there like a flower but come in its own pot? And there's a little baby one there as well, just growing. Alright, so we saw one of those on the way back to the ship. And then we'll fly off, go into low orbit, change the mapping for the other plant species on this planet. So there are 7 altogether, so we've only just covered the first 3. Right then, where was that? Somewhere around here I saw one. Oh, there's one there. There we go with that. Now, I normally try and land on the planet somewhere near sunset, on the range between night and day. Now in this planet I didn't have much choice because there weren't many places where the plants we just scanned grow. So I either had to go into quite daylight or really dark, and I didn't want to go into really dark, so But I parked here last night. So the planet is either rotated a complete turn or two, or hasn't rotated at all and it's tidally locked.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Yes. So as we go up, we see that these canyons that we're in now, that's the only or one of the very few locations where these plants grow. And the rest of the planet,
Landing gear
there's
retracted.
not many of those around at all.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, so that's high enough up. Now we'll change our filters. So we've got Alanoida, Bacterium, Concha, Fungoida, and Osseous, Stratum. Right, so all the things we haven't seen yet seem to be growing in the same place. Right, so let me just get the map up. Right, so Alanoides everywhere, Bacterium, Concha, Fungoida, Stratum. So if we go for Stratum, Alanoides seems to be everywhere. If we go to Stratum, that seems to be it's dropped out too soon. Right. Back up a little bit.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So let's see, Stratum, Tussock, we've got Tussock, all, Alanoides everywhere, Bacterium, Concha, Fungoida, Osseous. Right, we'll go for Osseous. Osseous is generally harder to find and it seems to be going in the same place as the Stratum. So, yeah, looks like that valley there is a nice flat location. I really wish we could flip between the different filters when we don't have the planetary probes selected, which means at the moment we can only flip between them while we are in orbit. So as soon as we get down to drop, we are stuck with whichever filter was last selected. Right, I'm going to land on that plane in the middle there. Right, so Osseous is one of the things on our list that generally grows in rocky areas. So that bit straight in front of us is probably a big target for Osseous. Although the last planet I found it was actually growing in the middle of the plains. That is very rare to see that. Right, so when we get down to about... Right, so I can see Stratum already. Can't see any Osseous. Right, some bacteria there as well. Right, so right in the targets now, that's bacteria. The green things are stratum, and they look like big pillows on the ground. Right, so those darker round things, that is the alanoida, I think. So what we are short of here is the osseous. Now, osseous can take a few different forms. They're normally giant mushrooms, but they can sometimes be discs. And they're going to be either discs growing straight out of the ground or discs like on the end of a branch. See the osseous from miles away. So again, there's some stratum and alanoida together. So we've run out of rocks over here. Let's go over there and see if there's any on those mountains. Unusual shape, look a little bit like. Looks like a little bit like a spine sticking out of the ground. No signs of life at all there, though. Right. I'll head back down to the plain. So looking for osseous is one of the things that's caused me to crash a number of times in the past. So I'm trying to take it a bit steady. What's that there? Is that rocks? Is that what I'm after? Right, I'm going to land here because I'm not quite sure what those are. Right, okay, landing gear. Find a
Landing gear deployed.
flat spot. I'm presuming they're the alanoida, but they look very black and dark. Alanoida are normally very green or blue.
No gravity warning.
Right, so right, there's some alanoid there behind the ship. Right, so these are the ones that are in front of the ship. Yeah, they are alanoid. They're the purple ones. Yeah, they look very dark from the top. Right, let's get those first. I think I'll take a screenshot of those. It's a long time since I've seen the purple ones. Again, these, I think the light, as the light shines through them, they change colour. Yeah, so that little one there, you see it's blue on this side. If we go and look at it with the light behind us, then it's quite clearly purple. Okay, can we see anywhere where we've got a bit of both? Right, so yeah. The species is Alanoidea chronamus teal, I think I said. Turquoise. Right, so that is worth 340,000 credits. Right, so let's take a screenshot. So where was... Right, so I want to be where I'm standing there, but I'm going to move out of the way a bit. Right, so there we've got the blue side and the purple side. Go and get the SRV in as well. Just... Right, let's put the... And can we do the touchy hand thing? Yeah, so I want to get... Back a touch more. Alright, so I'll turn the frame rate off and... Right. There we go. Right, so there's our screenshot. I've lost the mouse. There is the mouse. Alright, so what's the name of the planet we're on? Tika Aya. VKR something. Right, okay, that's the first one of those. Let's go and scan a few more. 150 meters for Alanoida, and there was some behind the ship, so we'll go over there and scan those. Yeah, we'll scan those next. Shouldn't fly when you're near the ship. Your thrusters get turned off when you get too close. So we'll pick up the Alanoida, the stratum, and the bacteria. Looked like there was enough bacteria to find around here. And then we'll go off and fly around somewhere till we see some osseous. So osseous is, generally speaking, pretty hard to find. I've found a few planets where it's been extremely easy to find, but that doesn't happen very often. And the other problem with osseous is you have to go 800 meters between samples, so you really need to find more than one patch. Right, so that's a stratum peeler slime, which is very common. Yeah, it's only worth 100,000 for the stratum. That's not far enough because we do need to go 500 meters. So let's go to these over here. And it'd be really nice if we can find some stratum next to bacteria. Right, so there is some bacteria over there. Right, where is it? So I was only the second sample of that, so we do need to go a bit further. So I think that's why some bacteria just here. Yeah, have. Right, so I should park here and then go and get that. Is that some more over there? No, it's a rock. Yeah, park here and just fly over to that other one. Right, so that's that complete. And just behind us is the bacterium. Orasus green. Orasus green. Bacterium. Orasus green. Right, so got to get a bit of altitude now, try and find some more bacterium. Normally the best way to find bacterium is drive really fast, hit a bump like that, and get some altitude. You can see it from high up. I think I saw. I saw some in that direction. Yeah, there it is. I'm sure there's no contamination from those tyres and the other bacterium I've driven over. Right, so one more of those to find. There we go. So is that a bacterium under the ship, or is that just lights? It's like lights pointing down from the ship. Never spotted those before. Alright, so we'll get back in the ship, fly around a bit, see if we can find some osseous. So get back into the ship, not out of the SRV. Right, so it's taken us 40 minutes to pick up six plant samples. See if I can pick up the other remaining one in the same amount of time.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Right, so again we're looking for rocky areas.
Landing gear retracted.
Want to be at an altitude between sort of 100 and 200 meters. Fly over these rocky bits. There's a nice small crater there. Again, these are normally quite big, so seeing them from a spaceship at this height isn't normally a problem. And I think we've probably got one just there. Yeah, there's one there. Right, okay. So let's land.
Landing gear deployed. Low gravity warning.
There it is. Like a giant oyster mushroom. Fractus indigo. That's worth $250,000. Assuming, of course, we can find 2 more to match it. And that was unavoided. bacteria over there. Might have to go around and fly around in the ship to find more samples. Yeah, getting quite a good view up there for a long way. Can't see anything, so I think we'll go back to the ship and fly around. Somebody joined us. Alias G20. Welcome to the stream. We are touring the galaxy. We are currently 15 jumps away from Beagle Point. If you're an Elite Dangerous player, I'm sure you've heard of Beagle Point being one of the furthest stars away from the bubble and Earth. I found this planet. It has 7 forms of life on it, so I stopped to scan the life on the planet. I've already got the first 6, and we're just after 2 more samples of the 7th form of biology on this planet. Oh, so you're new to Elite Dangerous, right? Okay. So we're doing the exploring, mainly after xenobiology, and what I'm doing in the tour is I'm following each spiral arm from tip to the center. I have done the first one, which is the spiral arm that has its end nearest to the bubble. So I followed that all the way to the center. And we are getting very close to the tip of the second spiral arm, on the far side of the galaxy from Earth and Sol. So I'm hoping to make it to Beagle Point by the end of the stream. So it's 15 jumps away, which will take about 20 minutes once we get off this planet. But at the moment I'm just looking for a few more osseous, which are giant mushrooms, to scan before we leave this system. So what kind of gameplay you do? Well, you've done some cargo missions, landed on a moon, rocky planet, something like that. Yeah, okay, so very new then. So the cargo missions are a good way to rank up in the military, and also make a bit of money to begin with. When I first started, I ran a lot of cargo missions to get the money to buy my first large ships.
Landing gear retracted. Landing gear deployed.
So I was mainly doing Imperial slaves. Back then that was yeah. So there's the Empire and the Federation, which are the two main military organizations, and ranking up in the military, the easiest way to rank up in the Federation is to do cargo missions for the Federation, and again, if ranking up in the Empire, if you do cargo missions for the Empire, that's a good way to rank up. There are other ways of doing it, of course, but any missions, any sort of missions from those factions will give you ranking within the Empire or the Federation. Right, how do you get a large ship? You basically have to buy one. So from a space station, if you're in a Coriolis space station, there should be a shipyard, and they will sell ships. Then you, of course, when you've got them, you fit them out. So you buy a relatively cheap ship. If you're beginning, you're probably in a Sidewinder. So again, if you're just doing trading missions, you probably want to go up to a hauler next, or a Cobra. A hauler's cheaper, I think, of about the same cargo capacity as a Cobra, but it doesn't really have the weapons capability and shields that you can get into a Cobra. But yeah, you basically just trade up. Haulers are pretty cheap. They are less than 1 million credits, if I remember right. It's been a long time since I bought one. Again, going up to the bigger ships, my trade ships, or my main trade ships, are Imperial cutters, and you can buy those for about I think it's 800 million. But once you've fitted them out, you're talking more like 1 billion. No, it's less. That's 200 million for a standard cutter. But once you've fitted it out, it's closer to 1 billion in value. Particularly if we're fitting it out for combat, it's not quite so much for fitting out for trade.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Yeah, and again, as you rank up in your trade. Oh, you've purchased a hauler, yeah. Yeah, so as you rank up in trade, you'll be able to get missions that pay more per ton. Yeah, so they're pretty cheap. I mean, 52,000 is the same price as a gun in Odyssey. Well, it's less than a gun in Odyssey. So yeah, ships are actually relatively cheap, particularly the basic ones. I still have a hauler. I don't use it for hauling. I have stripped it out, made it as light as possible, and put in the biggest frameshift drive I can get. I've got its jump range up to about 52 light years, and I just use it as a shuttle to get from location to location, because it's really cheap to recall it. So yeah, if I want to go from one station to another station and I don't really want to take a ship with me, I just either call the hauler, or I get in the hauler and recall it back to my fleet carrier once I have finished with it. Alright, so we're still on the hunt for Osseous here, flying along the rocky areas. Yeah, when you're doing this, make sure you've got some pips to shields, because hitting the ground is all too easy. So yeah, we're looking for the giant blue mushrooms. Right, so yeah, apologies at the moment. Twitch has been running some updates, which means your text messages don't appear on the screen in the video. So also apologies to people watching the video. They won't see what the text messages are. Right, so let's hopefully find... What are they? Are they just big standing stones? I think they are. There's quite a lot of them as well. They seem to... standing stones always seem to appear in bunches. Yeah, so the different ships. Yeah, I'm recording this, so this will be on YouTube. So yeah, if you're watching it on YouTube later on, yeah, you won't see what the text messages were. Yeah, the different ships have different characteristics when you fly them. I'm flying in an Anaconda now, which is about the third or fourth biggest ship, and it's also one of the least manoeuvrable. Which means if I just want to turn around and face back where I just came from, it takes a lot longer in this ship. Right, so we need to go and find some more of these rocky locations. Looks like there's a line of them heading in that direction.
Landing gear retracted.
Yeah, if you're looking in outfitting, you can probably improve the ship before you want to upgrade to the next type. I know when you first buy a ship, it comes with the absolute minimum of equipment. And for instance, I mean, you paid what 52k for your hauler. I think my hauler's worth about 1 million credits because I have upgraded it. Right, so there are 2 more. So hopefully they're ones I haven't scanned before. So I need to find somewhere to land again.
Landing gear deployed.
If you've not landed on the planet yet, so it's a little bit from landing on a landing pad. So in the radar you'll get a blue circle underneath your ship when you are on level land, and then you have to rotate your ship so that your ship's blue as well, and then hopefully you can just lower the ship onto the landing pad. There we go. So are you just playing Elite Horizons, or have you got Odyssey as well? Right, so what you need to improve it is basically money, and what I would recommend that you upgrade first is probably the frameshift drive, give you a little bit of extra range. I'm assuming by the DLC you mean Odyssey. Yeah. So upgrade and the cargo capacity. All your cargo bays will not be the biggest ones that are available to the ship when you first buy it. So if you go into, when you're in a space station, if you go into outfitting, you will find you can probably, if you've got the money, you could probably double the capacity of the ship, and also probably double the jump range as well. Now again, as you improve those, you'll probably need more power, so you may need to upgrade your power plant. I think that the frameshift drive doesn't generally use that much power, so if you're just increasing your range, you can do that. But if you start adding weapons to it, you'll need to increase your the power as well. So all the power goes through a power distributor, And yeah, again, the bigger the power distributor, the more power it can put through to your weapons, and the more power it can store as well for your weapons. Right, so that should be this system complete. That was free. Lots of osseous.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
Right, so we have got quite a nice planet here. I'll just go
Landing
into
gear
orbit.
retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so the adder is a
4, 3,
is
2,
it's okay as a sort of basic fighter. I've got an adder, but I've never actually used it. So I've got one of each ship. All I've done with my adder is basically engineer it to its maximum. Right, so when you go to outfitting, you have I can't remember how they phrase it now. There are internal slots, and there's the essential ones and the optional ones. So the optional ones are where your cargo bays are. So you need to go to your optional. Again, I haven't done any outfitting since the update of Odyssey, so I can't remember the interface. But yeah, go to your optional ones and choose the biggest cargo bay that will fit into those slots. Generally speaking, when you get your ships, the cargo bays are only half the size of the available for the slot that they're in. So you may need to sell your cargo bays and replace them with bigger ones if you've only got a few slots available. You can also possibly get rid of some of your internals, so you may have a fuel scoop. Now, if you found a nice run and you're not refueling with the fuel scoop, you can get rid of the fuel scoop. Although I'm not sure if any ships come with a fuel scoop as standard. Right, so I'm now going to plot a route for Beagle Point. So let's show you the galaxy map now. Right, so we're in the galaxy map. We can see here Beagle Point is here, so that's where we're heading towards. If I turn around and look, so you can see Sol is over here, right in the distance. Let's get out of the favourites. So favourites are no longer ordered in the same way as they were before. Yeah, Sol. Right, so if I go to Sol now, yes, it's right on the far side of the galaxy, and it is currently 64,000 light years away. So yeah, I've got to add a couple of hundred more light years to that before I get to Beagle Point. But yeah, so I followed the spiral arm around. So from Sol, well, I wasn't coming from Sol. I was coming from the center of the galaxy. So I followed the spiral arm around. I passed Sol, and I've been following it around to the edge of the galaxy, where I am now. Right, so just double check I'm actually heading the right way. Yeah, so if you've got 16 slots, you may want to keep one of those as your docking computer if you're still using a docking computer and you haven't worked out how to land manually. But you can basically strip. You may want to keep one as a fuel scoop as well if you're doing longer runs. But you could strip pretty much everything else out and just replace it with cargo slots. Oh, you want to keep your shields. So the shields are an optional are an optional, go in your optional slots as well. So you don't need to have shields. But yeah, until you've got the hang of landing, I recommend you keep the shields. And again, if you get pirates or anything coming after you, then shields would probably be a good idea as well. Yeah, I mean, in my exploration ship, yeah, so if you press 4 on the keyboard, you get to this menu, then you go to modules, and you can see which modules you have. Now you see here, I do have a shield generator, but it's only a 4D one, which is one of the smaller, lighter ones, much smaller than you would normally put on a ship of this size. But the only reason I need a shield generator on this is just to protect the ship while I'm landing. Yeah, so you can, if you go to your modules, you'll be able to see what you have. You probably have a pulse laser in there. I think all ships come with a pulse laser as standard, and then you have your essential things like frame shift drive, power distributor, cockpit canopy, power plant, and what else is standard? Oh, the fuel tank as well. And scanners. So yeah, scanners are standard as well. Right, so the mission will be a cargo capacity of 7. You can have if you've got 16 slots. I'm not sure, is that 16 slots of cargo you're talking about? If it's an adder, I presume it's 16 slots of cargo. Right, so again, you can take more than one mission at a time. So if you've got a mission that requires 7 cargo slots, you could take 2 of those missions and go and deliver them all at once. You can also go to the commodities market and buy things from the commodities market, and then go to the other location and sell those. You have to keep an eye on prices, because you could be selling those at a loss. Yeah, so yeah, just because you've again, also the better you get and the more slots it's going to take, the more money you can going to earn from it. So how much are you earning for the mission with 7 slots? I mean, generally speaking, when I take missions, I don't take a mission that's going to earn me less than 3 million. But I imagine you're probably not going to be able to get any missions if you're just starting out there anywhere near that. But yeah, when you get up to Trade Elite, you'll be able to get missions where you're carrying up to like 700 cargo for anything up to sort of 6 or 8 million. And you can also take wing missions, which you can do with a friend. If you group up with a friend, you can take a wing mission, and then you can get missions that require far more cargo space and will probably require multiple trips. Yes, so I think the highest mission I've seen is probably about 60 million for a wing mission. But that again, that is normally an illegal cargo, or going to somewhere where the cargo is illegal, and it's probably going to take you quite a lot of trips to complete that mission. Yeah, so at your stage, 20 to 60,000 is quite good. Also, if you keep doing missions from the same location, you'll build up reputation with them, and they will give you better missions as well. So as you build up your trade rank, you'll get better missions, and as you build up your reputation with the locals, they'll give you better missions as well. Right, okay, so we are now off to Beagle Point.
Frameshift drive
I
charging.
don't really expect I'll find anything else of interest between here and Beagle Point. I That planet was the only thing of interest I found in the whole sector so far.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Yeah, when you're doing these missions, you'll at some point get a mission to do either a federal or an imperial mission, which will give you an option to rank up in the military. Now it is worth doing those. It will give you access to some ships that you can't get
Fuel
without
scope disengaged.
ranking up. Do I recommend mining? Yes, I do. Mining is what I do to make money. It's the most profitable thing. You probably are going to need a bigger ship before you start thinking about mining. So I would rank up until you've got about 80 million and buy a Python and fit that out for mining. Again, you can mine in smaller ships. I think probably the smaller ship I would recommend mining in would be a Cobra. But you're just going to have to keep going backwards and forwards between mining locations and somewhere to sell what you've found. So yeah, until you've got something like a Python, probably an Asp Explorer, or maybe even an Asp Scout. I'm not sure how many cargo space an Asp Scout has. They've probably got enough on them to get a reasonable mining ship. Yeah, I mean, again, you could try it. You can make money that way, but yeah, again, you're going to need a reasonable amount of hard points on your ship to be able to fit it out for mining, because there are 3 different types of mining and they all use different hard points. So you've got laser mining, where you just need some mining lasers and you can shoot at the asteroids and knock things off them. You're probably also going to need collector limpets to collect what you've knocked off them. Hard points, right? So yeah, I wouldn't recommend mining until you've got at least probably 3 hard points and 2. I can't remember. I think the scanners go in the. Yeah, the scanners. Yeah, so you need some utility points as well, and you'll need a limpet probes. So you need probe limpets and collector limpets. I know there is a new multiple limpet controller out now that does collector limpets and prospector limpets all in the same controller. I've not looked at one of those yet, so you might be able to get away with just one of those. But basically you will fire probes at the asteroids. That will then tell you what's in the asteroids. You then fire your lasers at the asteroids to get the stuff out, and then you use your collector limpets to collect it, and then you'll need a hopper in there to refine it. Right, so what happens if you lose in combat? Right, so if you're watching now, I'll just go and show you. Right, so if you go into press F4 and you go to your ship menu, I think it should be on the ship menu. Current, or maybe it's in the home page. Yeah, it's on the home page. So you see where it says rebuild cost, rebuy cost there. Basically you have to pay a fraction of your ship's value as insurance to get your ship back. So if you haven't got enough money in your credit balance to cover that rebuy cost, you will basically lose the ship if you get killed. And if you do get killed in combat, you will basically pay the rebuy cost, and the insurance will buy you a new ship. and you'll end up in one of the nearest stations to wherever it was you got killed, or possibly the last station you landed at if you're not near anywhere when you get killed. Yeah, so check your rebuy costs and make sure you have at least that much in your bank account before you set off. There's a good saying in Elite, which is "Don't fly without rebuy." After a month of playing, when the game first came out, I got killed without rebuy, and I lost my everything I had. So I lost my first month's worth of work because someone decided to attack me while I was in a ship that was fully loaded with cargo. I spent every last penny I had buying the cargo, and yeah, so I didn't have any rebuy. So I lost that ship, and I couldn't buy back, so I basically had to start from scratch after the first month. Right, so we're now scanning this system. I'm looking for Earth-like worlds, ammonia worlds, and water worlds. There aren't any here. So we'll go off to the next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, it is quite cheap, but again, it depends on the price of your ship. I mean, you saw here for this ship, my rebuy cost was 11 million. For my big combat ship, the rebuy cost on there is 200 million. So yeah, it depends on what ship you're in. It's I believe it's 5% of the value of the ship.
Fuel scoping.
Or it might be 20%. I can't. Yeah, I think it's probably 5% of the value of the ship.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so I mean, you're doing trade missions at the moment. A good thing to do with that is if you do keep going to the same locations to pick up those trade missions, you will sort of gain reputation and give you better ones. And also there are the data delivery missions. So if you know you're going to a different location, there may be some data delivery missions which don't take up any cargo space, and you may be able to then get 2 missions for the price of 1.
Complete. Warning, temperature critical.
Yeah, I would pick. I would make sure you've upgraded your guns a bit first, because the guns that come with the ship are a little bit weak. But yeah, it's combat missions are good fun. But also, the higher the reward you're going to get for the mission, the tougher the enemies are going to be. So it took me quite a while before I could pick up a combat mission worth 1 million credits. And back then they were to kill Anaconda pirates. And I could only just manage one of those in a fully fitted out Cobra, so it took me a while to get a reasonable amount of money from a combat mission.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
There are other types of missions you can do as well, like search and rescue missions, or data collection missions where you need to go and scan a probe. So you need to fly to the system and then find the probe and scan it, and then take the data back, or pick up a black box or something like that. So there's a number of different variety of missions. Right, so thermal weapons like lasers, they're good for getting shields down. Kinetic weapons like multi-cannons, they are good for getting through the hull. So having a mix of the two is normally a good idea. What I would recommend is you have sort of balance between lasers and multi-cannons, and yeah, so you start off with just your lasers to get the shields down, and once the shields are down you start using your multi-cannons as well. Although the thermal weapons do have a tendency to overheat your ships. So yeah, if you go over the top with the laser weapons, you'll get railguns. Again, they produce far more heat. Railguns are more for penetration. So with a railgun, you can actually damage the ship without getting the shields down. But I would stay away from railguns because they do produce a massive amount of heat. The only time you're really going to use railguns is if you're fighting against Fargoids, because you need guns with pretty good penetration for those.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so I normally stick to on my combat ships. I normally stick to multi-cannons and lasers. Again, beam lasers produce a lot more heat than pulse lasers or burst lasers. So if you're in a small ship and you just load it up all your big weapons with beam lasers, then your ship is going to overheat very quickly. Now, when you get a bit more advanced and you've collected a few of the engineers, you'll be able to engineer those weapons to reduce the amount of heat they create, and then you can get away with more powerful beam lasers.
Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging.
Overheating a bit there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so multi-cannon and pulse laser is good for to begin with. When you've got a bit more money, I'll try those out first. If you don't overheat, you may be able to improve the pulse laser to a burst laser or a beam laser. But yeah, give that a go like that. You should be able to take on some of the lower level pirates.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, I wouldn't try doing a combat zone mission yet. I should probably just take on a few pirate missions and go and search for pirates. Now, the best place to find pirates is in a ring system near a mining resource. So you need a system with
Frameshift drive charging.
a planet that has rings around it, and if you go to those rings, there will be high intensity, low intensity, and medium intensity zones. I would go to a low intensity zone to begin with, and you'll find some of the lower level pirates in there.
Engage.
Okay, so follow the tutorial. Try and stick to the same sort of level of pirates. Again, you can get a frame shift drive interdictor, which will allow you to pull pirates out of frame shift drive and track them down. But again, that will take up more cargo space in your ship
Fuel
and more
scoping
power.
complete.
So yeah, I'll probably start off by going to a ring system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right, so 7 jumps now till we get to Beagle Point. So that's about halfway there.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
If you want to try out combat for free with no risk to your ship, you can always go into CQC. CQC or the arena, that enables you to fly a ship, and if you get destroyed, you just get another ship for free. You're probably not going to do very well in the arena until you've got some experience, but it's a good way to try combat for free with no risk to your ship.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Yeah, so that's arena mode from the launcher. Yeah, to begin with, you'll be in a fighter ship, which is smaller than the ship you've been flying around in, but they're far more manoeuvrable. And there's a pretty good balance in the game, although as you gain experience in the arena, you do get access to better ships and better equipment.
Scoping complete.
But even with that, there's still a pretty good balance. You're not going to come up with somebody who can destroy you in a single blast in the arena. It's always going to be
Frameshift drive
a little bit of a
charging.
dogfight. You're not going to earn much money doing that. I mean, so I'll just show you. I'm CQC rank elite, and if I go into my codex, getting to CQC rank elite is one of the hardest tasks to do in elite. But if I look at my combat stats, combat, can't see where it is there now. Is there a separate one for the arena? CQC stats, there we go. Right, so I've earned 27 million in elite, and that's taken me 4 weeks. So I can earn 27 million in an hour, or in a quarter of an hour mining. So yeah, you're not going to get rich from the arena. Yeah, but it's a good introduction, and again, if you're going to be good in the arena, then you'll be good in the main game as well. Although there is a lot more to think about in the main game with combat, because you've got far more weapons to choose from, and your opponents can have far more weapons as well. Yeah, so the arena credits are linked to the main game. You don't actually need credits in the arena, you just need experience in the arena to get better ships. But any money you earn in the arena you can spend in the main game. I personally think they could increase the amount you get for the arena, because yeah, they could easily increase it by 1,000 times and it still wouldn't have any effect on the balance of the main game.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, okay. So let's see what we have in this
System
system.
scan complete.
Right,
Fuel
there's only one
scooping.
body, so no need to scan the system. So we just refuel
Fuel scooping complete.
and head off to the next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I've not been in the arena for a while, so I'm not quite sure how much it's being used. It can take a while sometimes to actually get a match going. But yeah, if you queued for more than 7 minutes, then I'd give it up as that no one else is playing. Each match lasts 7.5 minutes is a maximum. In the deathmatch, team deathmatch, I think lasts a little bit longer. I think they're possibly 15 minutes. And I wouldn't try capture the flag. It's very rare that there's anybody queuing to play that. The only time I ever get to play capture the flag is when there is a live stream from Frontier, and they seem to have stopped doing those. Right, overheating a little bit. Right, okay. Right, so ship's cooling down now. Let's have a look to see what's in the system. Nothing at all.
Frameshift drive charging.
Alright, just 3 jumps now. I've never actually been to Beagle Point before. I have been to the Star, which is the furthest one away from Sol, which is just beyond Beagle Point. But yeah, last time I came out here, I just didn't really think about actually going to Beagle Point. I didn't realise it was a significant star.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Right, so 4 bodies here. Oh, we have a water world. That seems to be the only thing we have. But let's. Right, so it has previously been mapped. So that's what I would expect with it being this close to Beagle Point. So we are just 2 jumps away from it. So I imagine there aren't many stars around here. So I imagine most of them have actually been visited. Right, so if you open Odyssey, you'll be able to get out of your ship and walk around on planets and in space stations. In Horizons, you won't be able to do that. Horizons was, that was the version before Odyssey. And any of the game content that is linked to walking around, such as scanning plants, as I've been doing, on-foot combat, walking around space stations, none of that will be accessible if you're in Horizons mode. Horizons mode may give you slightly faster frame rates if you're suffering from slow frame rates. I know when Odyssey first came out, I was only doing Horizons for CQC for the arena stuff, because in the main game the frame rates were just too slow. I don't know. It doesn't really matter for the arena. I would only go into Horizons if you need to, because going into the Horizons, I'm not sure if they fixed this problem, but every time I went into Horizons and came back to Odyssey, all my key bindings got deleted for the on-foot mode stuff, so I had to rebind those. So if you're not binding those, it probably doesn't matter so much, or changing the bindings, it probably doesn't matter so much. But yeah, I mean, if you're getting a decent frame rate, I would stick to Odyssey. there's no advantage in going into Horizons if you're getting a good frame rate. Oh, right, you don't have the deal. Right, okay. Yeah, so again, if you don't have it, then I think Horizons will be the only option you get. I'm not. There is slightly different lighting in the arena between Horizons and Odyssey. But yeah, if you don't have Horizon, if you don't have Odyssey, then yeah, just choose Horizons mode. The other one probably won't work. Are you playing on an Xbox or a PC? PC, yeah, okay. Yeah, again, all the people playing on consoles, they only have the Horizons option at the moment. So they are still waiting for the Odyssey update to arrive for them. It's been it's been what, 10 months now since Odyssey came out, so yeah, it's really time Frontier pulled their finger out and got that sorted for them. Right, so there we have Beagle Point as our next jump.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
I'm not sure if there's anything special about Beagle Point. I think the only thing special about it is its location. So we have nothing in this system we want to look at. So straight off to Beagle Point. So there should be a fleet carrier in Beagle Point where I can repair and refuel. I don't really need to repair or refuel. The only refueling I do is to refuel the SRVs, because refueling at stars doesn't refuel the SRVs, so I can only do that in fleet carriers. That's one of the reasons why I'm carrying 2 SRVs in this ship.
Fuel scoping.
Right, so let's fuel scoop and then see
Fuel scoping
what is in
complete.
Beagle Point. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we've got 7 planets. Oh, there is. Right, there's a concentrated signal source. That'll be the fleet carrier, and another concentrated signal source. I don't know what that would be. Let's scan the system and see. So there's an ice body. What's that? That's a high metal content. Right, that is the fleet carrier. So I'll target that because that's where we'll be going. It's probably a tourist beacon. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if there's not a tourist beacon here. Yeah, so another way of making money is you can buy a passenger ship or fit your ship out as a passenger ship and take passenger missions. Some of those passenger missions, you're just delivering them to different spaces, and the higher paid ones, you are taking them to visit tourist beacons. Right, so I think it's just 1 planet left, maybe 2.
System scan.
Yeah, right, so this has, there's 2 fleet carriers, so I wasn't expecting that. I will be going to that one there, but we have a memorial. Okay. So I'm presuming that that is the memorial. Right, I have never been to a memorial before. I know that Elite have got a system which they were working on. I'm not sure if it's fully in place, where they put up memorials to players who have died. Presumably, this is one of the early ones of those before they got the full system in place. Oh right, so no, you've gone right back. Right, right. So just a minute, let me see if I can. Let me just have a look at my launcher. So oh, I can't see it because I'm in the game. You can also get it from within the game. So if you go to the main menu in the game, yeah, you probably have to download it in the launcher. But just a minute, go to the main menu. So I need to exit that. So exit to main menu. Yeah, so if you then click continue, oh, no, that took me back into the game. Didn't want to do that. Yeah, from the main menu, you should have an option to have open, group, solo, or arena. But there is also an option to get into the arena from the launcher, because you can buy, or you used to be able to buy the arena as a standalone game. So just a minute, so exit, yeah, main menu. And no, it's not options. Social, right, continue. Yeah. So yeah, if you go to arena here, you can get in as well. If you haven't done it, I'd go and do the training missions where there's a couple of training missions for combat as well in there. So that will get you the basics of how to maneuver your ship. But I'm currently playing in solo because I'm carrying about 3 months of data, and I don't want to bump into any commanders that feel like taking a pot shot. Right, okay, where was I going? Going to Memorial. There it is.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Yeah, so the arena used to be the bottom option in the launcher. Again, I haven't looked at that for a long time, so I'm not sure if that is still there because I have to scroll down to see the bottom option. Right, so let's go and scan this memorial. I'm presuming it's just going to be a tourist beacon. Yeah, it's a tourist beacon. And there are other ships. That's the first other ships I've seen for a very long time. These will all be tourist ships. So we've got a an orca. what's that one? That's a beluga. And I think that one's a dolphin. That's another. Is that the same one I scanned before? Oh, there's a hauler here as well. Okay, I've never seen a hauler as a tourist ship. Oh, it's a taxi. Someone's come here in a taxi. Okay. Yeah, Horizons used to be a DLC, so there was Elite Dangerous, then Elite Dangerous Horizons. So Horizons was the first DLC that came out. I can't remember what that introduced. I think that was when they introduced engineers, and actually no, that's when they introduced the SRVs, so you could get out and drive around on planet's surface. But yeah, you're right, it's no longer a DLC. Just before Odyssey came out, not last year, at the end of 2000, they merged Horizons in with the main game. So yeah, if you get the main game, you now get Horizons as well. Right then, I am now going to set a route for the Deep Space Support Array Distant Worlds. Yeah, you can't get much more distance than this. But we have quite a few fleet carriers in the system. Star Tritium liner. Right, I think that cross in it means it has been decommissioned. Star Tritium liner 2. Right, so let's plot a course for the Deep Space Support Array. So that is what I have been visiting as I travel around the spiral arms.
Detected. Frameshift drive
Don't
charging.
really want to be here and be scanned, so
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
right. So that was an actual pirate. Okay, I wasn't really expecting pirates out this far. I don't have a cargo hold on this ship, or actually I do, but it is empty. Right, so there is the fleet carrier. And it looks like it has a...
Welcome, Commander. Follow standard flight protocols around this carrier.
Looks like it has a ship on there already. Right, let's request docking.
Docking request accepted. A landing pad has been assigned to you, Commander.
Right, so yeah, there we can see we're right on the edge of the galaxy, so that is basically the whole galaxy we see there. Right, so the stream has now been going for an hour and 50 minutes, and we've made it here, so that was 10 minutes ahead of what I was expecting. Right, so if you've not seen a fleet carrier before, fleet carriers are owned by players. And that's why they're out here. A player has bought a fleet carrier and they've come out here and parked it for people like me who are exploring the galaxy. And there are, I think it's probably about 100 fleet carriers in the Deep Space Support Array. And just going to refuel and repair.
Ship is secure.
Um,
Welcome, Commander.
if you didn't know, repairing doesn't repair everything. So I'm going to go into the repair options now, which are here. Repair when you repair your ship, it doesn't improve the ship's integrity. Now, I always advise that you go in and repair your ship's integrity, because that does give you a little bit more strength if you've got a high integrity on your ship. Your ship's not going to fall apart if the integrity gets to 0. It just means your ship will take damage much easier. Yeah, it was years before I even realised that integrity was a separate thing to repair, because it wasn't mentioned on this interface like all the other stuff. Right, okay. So let's see what's on this fleet carrier. Actually, there is a shipyard. So I doubt very much where I can actually buy anything. Oh, no, they do have ships. Okay, yeah. So if I want, all right, okay, that means I could now go out and buy a Sidewinder and then start shooting up people who are here exploring and don't have any weapons on their ship. And that's the kind of reason why I decided to come here in solo. You have universal cartographics, so you can go there and sell your data. So let's have a look to see. I'm not actually going to sell my data here because I would be giving up probably 25% of the value. But you see, I've got 34 pages of data, and the first page is worth 20 million. Back, so I don't want to do that. It's a redemption office. This is if you have killed some pirates, you will get bounties for the pirates, and you can go to the redemption office and get that money back. Carrier overview. Right, so I'm not sure if that will show anything for me because I don't own this carrier. It's just showing me the basics of the carrier. I don't think I've ever clicked on that for somebody else's ship. It's still going. Can I adjust that view? No, I don't seem to have any control over that view. Right, so and there's a crew lounge. So if you have a ship with more than one crew, you can hire crew to fly your fighters for you. And there's also engineering, so you can improve your modules by engineering them. Right, I am just going to go back to the main menu and log in and log in open, see if there's anybody else here. Alright, so let's go to open. I normally fly in open. I normally only go into solo if I'm carrying large amounts of cargo, or in this case data, and I'm going anywhere where there's likely to be people that are going to start opening fire on me for no reason, such as here. Right, so I'm not going to launch, I'm just going to go up to the surface, have a look around. Right, so go to the camera suite. Yeah, so I appear to be here all by myself. Right, let's take a screenshot. Can I find the sign for Beagle Point? They normally have it written on the sides of the decks. It just says keep clear. Actually, it won't say Beagle Point, well, it will say distant worlds. That doesn't look like there is one. Right, so you can get a screenshot by pressing F10. That will save a screenshot into your Elite Dangerous folder. What I do is I just press Alt and print screen to put it into paste buffer, and I'll copy that into Paint to save it. Because when you press F10, it will save it as a BMP. And I don't want to have to go and convert all of those BMPs to JPEGs so I can upload them onto the internet. Yeah, so press F10 and go and find your Elite Dangerous folder in your... I can't remember what the actual location of it is. I've got a shortcut to it on my desktop. Yeah, so it is your user Frontier Developments Elite Dangerous, and yeah, screenshots will get saved into there. All right, the camera controls. Yeah, you'll need to set those up. If you press, if you go into the game and press Escape, and go to Options and Controls. I think all the camera controls are under General. Yeah, so you've got your camera here. So there's a free camera. The free camera is basically just turning your head. So that means you can look around your ship with the free camera. And there's the store cameras. So here you have full control over your camera. I've set these up in a specific way. I think there's probably there's a camera, right? Store camera, right? Right. So again, I'm not sure what store camera is, but it's actually the camera suite you'll be looking for. Yeah. So in the camera suite, you can set up all of your controls on there. How you're going to control movement. Yeah. Again, that doesn't look like my controls. Previous camera, next camera. There's more in there than that. Free camera, camera store. Actually, that camera store does look. Store camera does look more like my controls. But yeah, you can basically move the camera around the ship. You also have the options to. If I just come out of there, go back into the game. Right. So say if I go and zoom in on the ship. Yeah, so that's. Oh, I can get quite close. That is me inside the ship. But if I just zoom out just a little bit, what I can do is I can either zoom in and out, or again you've got all the guides on the screen. If I press that, I can now go in and blur it, and then I can zoom or focus in on something. Again, that focus is a little bit slow, and it only really works if you've got something within a couple of meters of you. So let me move forwards. Right, so yeah, so there you can just see that the ship is becoming to be in focus and everything beyond it is not. I'm not sure if I can get that to get me back in focus again. I think it's probably too far away. Yeah, I've got this actually on a mouse scroll wheel, so it's got a limited speed at which it can go. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so you see I'm in focus there, but the background is totally out of focus. Again, I can dial that up or down of how much blur I want to add to the background. So yeah, if you go into the camera suite, there's a lot more you can do than just sort of pointing the camera. Right, I'm going to go back into solo, and then I'm going to take off and take a screenshot because I can't see the nameplate from there. Oh, it's taking me back in again without asking me whether I wanted to be in solo or main game. Right, what am I in? Escape. Yeah, I'm in open. I don't want to be in open. Continue solo. Right, so now we're back in solo, we can launch again. Right, so there's a nameplate inside the ship, so I'm guessing there'll also be nameplates outside the ship. An interesting green colour. So let's go and find one of those nameplates.
Disengaged. The launch underway.
So turn the ship's lights on. Yeah, there we go. Right, now what's the best thing we can get behind that? Really want to get the galaxy behind it. So which way is the galaxy from here?
Command, we're commencing routine maintenance check on deck 5.
Right, so I think I'm going to park the ship there and go outside the ship. And alright. Let's zoom in a little bit more on the name. Right, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to use that as, no, I'm going to park the ship on the fleet carrier, so let's come out of the camera suite. I will use that shot, but I want my ship to be parked on the fleet carrier while I take it. So let's request landing permission again, and hopefully
Docking request accepted. A landing pad has been assigned to you, Commander.
try and get landing bay 8.
Docking request cancelled. Docking request
5,
accepted.
get closer.
You are welcome to approach, Commander. Acknowledged. Your
4,
request has been
get
cancelled.
closer again.
Docking request accepted. Proceed to your designated pad, Commander.
That's the furthest one. We're doing that
Docking
one.
request cancelled. Docking request accepted.
7, that will do.
Maintain an appropriate speed during approach. Acknowledged. Your request has been cancelled. Docking request accepted. Proceed to your designated pad, Commander.
So we're getting back to the camera suite.
Locking confirmed. Clamps engaged.
Move the camera back to where it was before.
How may we assist you?
Ah, I just realised something. That's going to be in the dark now. Yeah, so there's the... Oh, it is lit, but it's very dim. Get a bit higher so I can get the ship in. Yeah, that will do. Back a little bit more. Right, hide that. Right, I think I'll save that as a screenshot. Right, so yeah, just taking a screenshot there. Now I'll copy that into Paint, and I'll get the name of the system or the planet at that anyway. Right, so if we go to system map, that's the planet we're on. Yeah, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 7 fleet carriers, and that one is it? I think the cross means it's either decommissioned or it's not accepting people to land there. So yeah, it's quite a feat to get a fleet carrier out here. I was surprised there's so many. Because it's yeah, you have to. What was it 65,000 light years? And fleet carriers can only do 500 jumps at a time. I mean, 500 light years jump at a time. So that is a lot of jumps for a fleet carrier to get here. Right, so 65,000 divided by 500. That's 130 jumps in a fleet carrier to get here. And considering the amount of fuel that requires, yeah, that's a hell of a lot of tritium. Right, okay, so that is now saved. Right, so now we're going to go on to the next, or the planet that's actually furthest away from Sol. Now this this planet you wouldn't be able to get to without engineering your ship. So I'm just getting the name of that system now. So the system is called I don't know how you pronounce that. Oversea. Right. So right. Let's plot a route. Galaxy map. Oversea SGY D0. I'm not sure if D0 is a planet. Oh no, that's part of the system name. Right, so it's only 500 light years away. I suspect I won't be able to plot a route to get there. Let's give it a go. Yeah, so there isn't a route available. The reason there isn't a route available is because some of the jumps will be more than 70, more than 80 light years, and that's the limit of my ship at the moment. So what I need to do, we're beginning to get into thin space, where there are very few planets to choose from. I'll try and get that in the right place. All right, see how far we can get to it by plotting a route. Right, so so you can see the routes we're taking now are very circuitous, and right, so I am actually going to not go all the way to there, because again that looks like we're doubling back from where we actually want to go to. So I'm just going to plot a route to there, and then when I get there I will decide what to do. Now, yeah, my standard jump range is, I think it's about 76, 78 light years. Let's have a quick look at so ship. So, yeah, so the standard jump range is 77.15 light years. My maximum jump range is 80. Which means if I'm running on an empty tank, I can get an extra 2 and a bit light years. No, slightly more than 3 light years jump range. But I can also use frameshift drive injection. And if you haven't seen that before, if you go to your inventory and you go down to the synthesis section, there's a whole load of things you can synthesize. So again, you can synthesize limpets, you can synthesize chaff, more ammo for your weapons, but you do need to have the resources in your materials. So either I think they're pretty much all materials that you need. So you do need to go around and collect materials to get those. And the materials you need for frameshift drive injection are the ones you get from planet surfaces. So if you're driving around on a planet surface in your SRV, you'll see things you can collect. Right, so to scan the nav beacon, you need to go to the nav beacon, drop out of frameshift, get close enough to it, probably about 1 kilometre, and then press your scan key. So if you go to your fire groups, all ships should have a I think it's it's a data link scanner. I think that's probably the one you need. So yeah, get close to it. Set a fire key for your data link scanner and scan it. So it sounds like you've taken on a tourist mission, possibly. I'm not sure what kind of mission that would be, but you might want to check how far away that is, because it may be a hell of a long way to actually get there. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to launch now.
Ship release confirmed. Move clear of the landing pad.
Right, so it's 7 jumps before I get to that system where I'm going to need to start using frameshift drive injection.
Landing gear retracted. Frame shift drive charging.
Launch successful. Goodbye.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Yeah, so if, yeah, you need to, for the scanning, you'll need to set your fire group, so one of your fire buttons triggers the scanners. Yeah, and then when you get within the range of the scanner, you just hold the fire button down,
Fuel scooping.
and you'll see some a sort of progress bar appear around it.
Fuel scooping complete.
Also, if you haven't worked out so far, you can scan systems every time you arrive in a different system. That every time I arrive in a system, I do a I think it's the D scanner is the one that scans the system, and that will scan the whole system, and you can then sell that data. Yeah. So again, I think the D scanner scans the whole system, and the it might be the composition scanner. I can't remember which one that is. So the data link scanner. The data link scanner is for scanning data sources. So I imagine if it's a source, it will be a data source. The composition scanner, I think, scans. Maybe that's the system. And the D scanner, yeah, I can't remember which one's which there. I just have them all on the same fire button and fire them all at once. One of them's bound to scan it if it is scannable. Yeah, okay, good. Alright, so we have done one jump and we have found a water world. Alright, so let's scan this system. And there's nothing on that planet. Geological signs on there and on there. Yeah, we're only one jump away from Beagle Point, so this has all been scanned before. Alright, there's the water world. So I'll go and scan that. Right, so I'm presuming you've scanned it. Well, I presume you go back and just hand the mission in. Have a look at your mission to see what it's telling you to do. So if you press, I think it's 1. Press 1 on the keyboard. 1 on the keyboard, and then go to your transactions. Then you'll see your missions in there. If you click on that, it should tell you what you need to do next, where you need to go. You'll also see in here any bounties you have on you, any bounties you have to collect, and all the missions that you've picked up that you haven't yet completed should all be in there. Right, so it looks like I still have a gas giant to find, and that looks like it's possibly around a different star.
System scan complete.
Okay, I've got a codex entry for that. Right then, let's see what's in the system. Right, that is the water world. Nothing else that we'd want to go and look at, so we'll just go and scan that water world. So it's 2,000 light seconds away. So is that? It looks like it's probably orbiting another star, not too far. Alright, so in every system, the nearest thing to the star, or the main star, will be a nav beacon. So yeah, if you need to find the nav beacon around the star, drop out of warp, or drop out of supercruise and the nav beacon, and scan the nav beacon. That will then tell you where in the system the target is, and you'll then have to go to that point in the system, and when you get closer to it, it will appear on your radar. Yeah, so if you're not in the system already, go to the system where the target is, and then yeah, just find the nav beacon and drop out there. When you scan the nav beacon, it will tell you everything that's in the system. That is all the signal sources that are in the system, all the planets. So if you like when I arrived in the system, I didn't know what planets were there until I scanned it. Scanning the nav beacon will give you that information straight away, but you're only going to find nav beacons in populated space. You don't get nav beacons out in the middle of nowhere like I am. You also get compromised nav beacons, which are nav beacons that have been taken over by pirates, and they are also a good place for combat. So yeah, that's where I do most of my bounty hunting, in nav beacons rather than at mining locations. Yeah, so yeah, but I wouldn't do hunting there until you got a bigger ship, because you can get pretty big ships of all sizes at compromised nav beacons. Well, that's an interesting looking water world. It's got lots of detail on it. Does that mean it's shallow water, or is that clouds? Oh, I'm getting closer and I still can't tell. It doesn't really look like clouds. Oh, I suppose it does. Yeah, it does now a bit. Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm mapping the planet. So to map a planet, you need to have a the detailed surface scanner installed in your ship, and then I'll just fire a few probes at it. Now I can fire, I can use the gravity of the planet and fire the probes at the back as well. So I fired one straight at it. The line you can see there is the horizon, so if I fired at that line there, it would hit the horizon. If I go above it, it will hit the back of the planet. So I'm going to fire 3 at the back of the planet. again, it's saying there that this system has been discovered by all it
Surface
nil,
scan by 50%.
and this particular planet was first mapped by
Surface scan complete.
Magru. Yeah, I presume it's Magru. Right, okay. That's all I wanted to do in this system. So choose the next system and go. Right, so once you've scanned your nav beacon, if you go to your navigation menu, so if you click on click 1 and look down the list of all the things in the system, so everything above the star, you should see your target in that list, and then you can just select it from there. Yeah, so you don't really need to go into the system map. You should be able to see it in here.
Frameshift drive charging.
I imagine the target whose name will be highlighted in. Oh, actually, maybe if you go back to transactions, it will now tell you which planet to go to.
Engage.
Then you can choose the planet from that list. Yeah, I think that's how it works. It's a long time since I've done a pirate mission, and the system's changed since I first did them. I think what you do is it will tell you which planet to go to, and then when you get close to that planet, it will highlight which location the actual person's at.
Scoping complete.
Alright, nothing at all in this
Frameshift
system.
drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Right, so
Frameshift drive charging.
yeah, I imagine most of these systems have been visited previously because there aren't a great deal of stars around here. I think when you get to your target, it will appear in front of you as a blue. It's highlighted a star. Right. Is that a secondary star in the system? I'd normally expect people to be around planets.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Right, so you went as close as you could. So it highlighted a star. I wouldn't normally expect it to highlight a star. I normally expect it to be a planet rather than a star. You went as close as you could. Yeah, you don't really need to get close to it. You just need to get to it and just fly around. So when you do get close to bodies, a circle will appear around them. If you get inside that circle, you will drop out of frameshift drive. So I'll show you what I mean when we arrive at the next system. Am I ready to go to the next system? Yes, I am. Yeah. So with planets you get you get a green line. So going inside the green line will mean you drop out of warp. So you don't want to do that. The way I do it is make sure that I'm always pointing outside of the circle. Right, so if you look at this star when we arrive in this next system, there will be a green line around it. So sort of greeny yellow line. But so long as if I'm pointing like that, I will eventually hit the star. Like that, I will always miss it. I'll overheat probably, but I won't actually get into it. So you can see I'm flying around the star with the line on my the top of my radar, or the arcs around there. So yeah, if you do that, then you won't hit it. Although, as I'm doing now, you may overheat if it is a star. Yeah, so that also applies to planets when you get close to a planet. Planets also have blue lines around them. The blue line, when you get inside the blue line, the navigation on your screen directly in front of you will change, as if you are flying in a planet or in an atmosphere. And when you get to the green line, you will drop out of Super Cruise and into Glide, and glide down to the planet's surface. Right, so I've not actually scanned this system yet. Let's scan the system. Nothing we're interested in.
Frameshift drive charging.
2 more jumps to go before I'll have to do some more navigation.
Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so that was a relatively short jump. Didn't take long to refuel there. Right, what's in the system? Nothing. Right, on to the next
Frameshift
system.
drive charging.
Yeah, so in this next system I'll have to plot a route again. We're probably now about halfway between Beagle Point and the star we're aiming at. Yeah, last time I came here I was in the same ship I'm in now. I had it fitted out slightly different then. It was a little bit lighter and had a standard jump range of 80,000 light years.
System scan.
But its shields were a bit weaker than they are now, and I was only carrying 1 SRV. Now the reason I'm carrying 2 SRVs is because you can lose them. If you have an accident on a planet, you can get your SRV stuck. So I've lost 2 SRVs so far on this trip around the galaxy. One by driving it into a hole by accident that I couldn't get it out of, and one because I died out of the SRV, but when I came back I was in my ship in orbit, and yeah, the SRV was still on the planet's surface, so that's how I lost the 2 SRVs. Right, okay, let's plot a new route. So go back to the galaxy map. Right, so we are heading. Oh, looks like I have a bookmark there already. Yeah, so that is where we're heading. So that is the furthest planet away. Right, so I've got this planet, this system here. That's 73. We should be able to make it to that one. So yeah, we can make it to that one. So we'll just go to that one next. We may have to do the remainder of this trip navigating system by system. That quite often happens when you get into the thin areas of the galaxy where
Frameshift
stars
drive
are
charging.
far apart. At the moment, I've got my star map to not show stars where I can't refuel.
4, 3, 2,
I could possibly
engage.
turn those back on again if I get in short of options. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to not refuel and make my ship a little bit lighter. So turn away from the star as soon as you get there.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scope
I'm normally pretty
disengaged.
safe with about half the fuel. Right, so that's actually let's see what's in the system first. Yeah, nothing we're interested in. And again, go back to the galaxy map. Right, so we are trying to get there. That's 160 light years away, and I need to find somewhere between here and there. How far is that one? That's 185. Right, so if I go to that one, which is 42, I may be able to make it to that one. I could frame shift drive, and that's if I do a frame shift drive injection, I could get there in one go, but I don't really want to use up the resources. So let's do it in two. Oh, I didn't actually plot the route. Right, galaxy map. So there's something else over there, which it's further away than that. I don't know what that is. It's another galaxy. It could be a star well outside the edge of the system, which could only be accessed by a fleet carrier. Which is a possibility.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, the most you can jump in an ordinary ship is I think if you do absolutely everything, you can get about 280 light years
1. Engage.
in one jump. I think the most I've ever done is 260. But in a fleet carrier, you can do 500. So fleet carriers are capable of getting to locations where ordinary ships can't get. Well, at least they can't get by themselves, they can get there if they're on a fleet carrier.
Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so I've just refueled there. I didn't really mean to refuel. Right, so there's nothing in this. Well, there is something in this system, but it's already scanned. Whatever it is, it's just a rocky body. Right, so I'm now going to need to plot the route again. So back to the galaxy map. Right then, so right, so that is, how far is that? That is 124. I could do that in one jump now. That's even further. And what's that one over there? That's 123. Right, so I am going to need to. There's one here. What's that? That is 117. Is that any? That doesn't really look like it's any closer than where we are at the moment. So, right. So let's do some frame shift drive injection. Just a minute. We'll go back to the Galaxy map and actually plot the route in. Set it as our destination. We can't plot the route because all right, it's gonna fail plotting the route. We need to. All right, how do you set it as your destination? Right, so we just do that. Set as target. It will try and plot a route in, but fail. But we've set it as the target now. Right, so we need to go into. See, so we've got our current jump range is 77.24. We need to get it up to 120. So if we go to injection, that will add 25%. That isn't going to get us to 120. That will add 50%. So that won't get us there either. We're going to need to go premium and double it. So that will give us a jump range of 154. Right, so we're going to go premium. Right, okay, so see there we've had to use 1 carbon, 1 germanium, 1 arsenic, 1 neodymium, 1 yttrium and 1 polonium, so that's quite expensive just for 1 jump, but I fully stocked up on everything before leaving, so I'm not going to be short on things. So now we should be able to jump the 125 light years.
Frame shift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Right, so here we are in the furthest system
Fuel scoping.
in the galaxy from Earth.
Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so it looks like it's a binary system. And we have another white star. It's quite a long way from us, so yeah, it takes at least 10-15 minutes to get there. But what we really need to do is turn around and look at the galaxy. Right, so there may be stars further away from the centre of the galaxy than this one, but this one is furthest away from Sol, which is somewhere the other side of that. Right, so that's pretty much the whole galaxy we can see there, and it does stretch around a little bit to the sides. Right, so I think that requires another screenshot, and as there's nothing much else here, I think that will be the screenshot. So right, let's go outside. Now I could tip it on its side and get a little bit more of the galaxy in. maybe go a little bit further back from the ship. Get the whole of the ship in. Ooh, what's happening there? The ship is not. Ship's thrusters aren't working. Right, okay, we should be seeing the ship's thrusters there, but they are. Right, I've not got something weird like landing gear down or something. Nope, it's not boosting either. Why is right? We are still in Super Cruise. That's why. Right, so let's come out of Super Cruise. Right, back to the camera suite. That's better. Let's see thrusters now. Back a bit. So that's the screenshot. Someone has just joined me. I'm not sure if that is Elias G20 back, but welcome to the Tour of the Galaxy. You have joined me in the furthest star in the galaxy from Earth, which sort of marks it's nearly halfway around on halfway along my trip of the galaxy. So I've just taken a screenshot there, so I'm going to save that now. And just want to wait for the program to start up. Yeah, so it's taken me around 4 months to get here. It's more than that. It's more like 6 months to get here, maybe 7. Now it doesn't take that long to get here. I've arrived here via the longest route you can take. So I started from Earth, and I went in the opposite direction to where we are now, to the edge of the spiral arm. And then I followed the spiral arm all the way into the center of the galaxy, and straight through the center, and followed the opposite spiral arm all the way out, which has brought me to where I am now. So let me just save this, and I need to save it with the name of the system. Yeah, so let's look at the map to show you what we've been doing. Right. Yeah, so Earth and the Sol, or our Sun, are here. So what I did is I went from there. I came along here to the tip of this spiral arm. I followed that spiral arm in. So each of these is a fleet carrier in the deep space support array. So I've been following those around into the center of the galaxy. I went straight out the other side of the center and following the next spiral arm around. And now I am well, that fleet carrier is Beagle Point. I was just there about 20 minutes ago. I'm now a little bit further away than Beagle Point than that, and that's where we are now. I will be continuing on to the tip of this spiral arm, and after that I'll be going to this fleet carrier down here. There's a few planets around here with life on, which I'm going to go and visit, and then from here I'm going to hotfoot it from there all the way over to this, the tip of this spiral arm, then start working my way back in again towards the centre. I will stop off at Colonia on that trip, and get the Odyssey engineers at Colonia, which I haven't been to Colonia since Odyssey came out. Get those, and then continue into the centre, and then follow the spiral arm around all the way up to this tip of this spiral arm. Then from there I'll hotfoot it back again to Earth, heading past these two fleet carriers on the way in this sector, and that will be the last sector in the galaxy I need to visit before finishing the trip. Right, so that's what we're doing, and you have just joined me in about the middle of that trip. Right, yeah, so you don't have the nav menu in the arena. You can only target ships manually, and you will only see them on your radar while you have direct line of sight of them. If they go out of direct line of sight, you lose them from your radar. There isn't anywhere to navigate to in the arena, so yeah, you can't go too far. So while you are in the arena, there are three types of, is it 3 or 4? The 4 types of power-ups. There is a red one, which is weapons, a yellow one, which is shields, a blue one, which is stealth, and a green one, which is speed. If I was you, I'd head for the red one straight away and try and get the weapons power up. If you can't get to the red one, then go to the blue one and go for stealth, and save the yellow ones until your shields are either low or destroyed, then go to them and pick the shield ones up. Yeah, so yeah, that's the arena. There are 4 different locations in the arena. There's the space lift. There is an asteroid belt with lots of asteroids to fly around. And well, there may be only 3. I'm trying to think what they all are now. And there's another one where there's only 1 power up. Oh yeah, there are 4, and there's another one which is a space station or a platform. Yeah, so you have to fly around, look for enemy targets on your radar, and then try and I've just seen that the messages are showing up in the video. Yeah, and then once you've got them, target them. So you once you can see them in front of you, target them, and that will enable you to get slightly better weapons lock on them. Although there aren't any gimbaled weapons in the arena until you get to the higher level and are using the Sidewinder. But again, I never use the Sidewinder. Yeah, so again, they may be hiding, or they may be in stealth. If they got to the blue thing before you, they may have gone into stealth and they may be invisible. Now, when they target you, that will disable their stealth. So as soon as they target you, you will be able to see them, and you'll be able to lock on them. But while they are in stealth, you may be able to see them in front of you, but they won't show up on your radar, and you won't be able to lock on them. Right, okay. Right, so the stream's now been going for nearly 3 hours. And I have got to where I hoped to get to in the stream. So I think I'm going to call that the end of the day. So yes, thanks very much for watching. If you've got any more questions, then ask them now. I'll try and answer them before I log out. But that's as far as I intended to get in today's stream. Yeah, so right, so the game, you have 7 minutes, so it's whoever's got the highest score at the end of 7 minutes is the winner. If you are in the game and everybody else is logged out, the game will also end. Or if somebody gets to a score of 750 or more, the game will also end then as well. Actually, I will, as I've finished, I will join you in the arena. So just let me just go to get a 7 pitch on. Right, so you're playing the arena in Horizons, so that means I need to log out totally and log back in again. So I haven't played in Horizons for a while. I'm hoping it's not going to right. No, right, I'm going to go and save my key bindings first, because if I don't, when I come back, they may all be gone. Right, so select all of those, copy. Yeah, it just takes me forever to get the key bindings right. Right, so so just save my key bindings. Right, so I'm now going to go into the arena. Oh, right. Right, so it's saying I need to upgrade before I can do that. I've not upgraded Horizons for a while, so I don't know how long this is going to take. Right, so it's preparing to update. Yeah, it looks like this may take a while. It's not even started downloading yet. So yeah, so unless you've got any more questions, I'll end the stream there. Yeah, I'm maybe streaming again tomorrow. Probably starting at sort of around 6:30, 7ish tomorrow. So yeah, please join me then. Also have a look at the About section. There'll be a link there to all the YouTube videos and to the galaxy map, so you can have a look around that. I am going to try and do a raid. Let me see if anybody I know is currently streaming. It's updating. Oh, so the arena progress is updating as well. So it's saying working now. It's got a complete progress bar. So I'm not sure if that's counting up or down. Right, so, okay, so it's going to take 10 minutes for me to download the upgrade to join you in Horizons. Oh, that's just dropped to 5. Yeah, right. So right, so yeah, it looks like nobody is streaming at the moment, so I can't do a raid. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. Okay, so bye bye.